Hi guys, I'm David with Media Unlocked, and today we're going to show you how to set up a professional corporate interview with a single light and 2 cameras. That's real basic and easy, so you can create amazing interview footage. Let's talk about the equipment that we're going to use before we set everything up. So it's a really simple setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 camera bodies because we want 2 separate angles. We want a tight angle and a medium to wide angle, depending on the type of corporate interview you're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to use 2 camera bodies. So I have the Sony a7R5, I have the Sony FX3, and then I'm going to use a tight lens for a tighter shot, which is the 70-200. And a more medium to wide, which is the 28-75. We're also going to use the Atomos Ninja. And what we'll be doing is we'll be using false colors to make sure that we can get our colors exactly how we want so that our skin tones come out perfectly every single time when we do one of these interviews. We're going to use a shotgun mic on our B camera so that we can sync up our audio with our A camera. The nice thing about the Sony FX3 is that it has its own audio piece that connects to it, and we're able to run our professional Sennheiser G4 wireless lavs with it, so we can get really nice clean audio. And again, we'll sync up the audio from the wireless setup with so mainly we're going to sync up the audio with both cameras. So we'll use the A camera's audio, but we need backup audio, so make sure that you have a shotgun mic or some way to capture audio with your B camera. Now, we're only going to be doing a 1 light setup, and so that's the Godox. This is the Godox SL300 II. As well, we'll be using it with a 34-inch beauty dish made by Easy Lock, which is an Adorama softbox company. So if you guys are looking for a nice cheap softbox, go check out Easy Lock on Adorama. And we'll be using a 34-inch beauty dish for that. Of course, we'll have 2 tripods, and then of course we'll have our wireless lav mic here, and then the cords that we're going to need to hook up the monitor and hook up the XLR into the audio device. Now, if you have a little bit of extra money, when you do these type of corporate interviews, you really want to make your cameras look fancier than they might actually be. So we do have V-mount batteries, and we have a few other items that we'll throw on the camera to make this thing look way bigger than it actually is. And 9 times out of 10, I don't need all that extra stuff on my camera, but it makes the client feel like they're getting more bang for their buck. So I'm gonna pop up a B-roll video of one of our client shoots where we have a bunch of added stuff to the camera, rail system, V-mount batteries. Again, we probably didn't need it for that type of shoot, but it makes the client feel a lot more special and they're getting more bang for the buck. So I like to kit out my rig as much as possible. Now sometimes we do need that full kit, but 9 times out of 10, it's way overkill than what we actually need for what we're doing. So let's go set this setup and let's do a little interview. So the first thing I usually do is I want to get the lighting setup done. We have 2 different ways that we can set up our lighting. I'm going to be using a C-stand, but not everybody has a C-stand. They just have a basic light stand. So we'll talk about what to do in that case. But the first thing that needs to be done is I need to go on and set up my modifier here, which is the 34-inch beauty dish. So you want to get this as far down as possible and angled like this, so you're putting the light right into them, right? So you'll have to figure this out. A lot of times this is going to have your cameras will be on in between or like on each side of it, so the cameras can shoot through it, because you don't want to get this in the shot. And then again, objectively, you want to get this as close and as low so that you're really hitting them with all that diffusion. And the higher up you bring the light, the more shadows you're going to get under the neck, nose, stuff like that. So for those that do have a C-stand and all the pieces for it, as you guys can see, we do need a heavier sandbag. So one thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you're setting your tripods and the camera actual lens kind of at eye level with the subject that you're going to be using. So you don't want to be up or down or above them. You want to be almost straight on eye level with them. It will feel more natural when you're watching the video. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be setting up the FX3. I'm going to put the 7200 on the FX3. I want that to be my tight shot and my A shot. So my main camera angle. And then we're going to use the 28-75 for a little bit wider shot on the Sony a7R5. Again, battery. And then we'll use the shotgun, the Rode shotgun mic, to capture backup audio so that we can sync our audio super easy. And now we need to set up the rest of the audio for the FX3, and then we'll start doing lighting and figuring out positioning for our client. Oh, please don't be dead, battery. That's the worst, man. You turn on something and you realize your batteries are dead. That is the worst thing to run into. Or you forget to bring a memory card. Oof. I've also done that one too. Okay, so my camera guy is going to be kind enough to be our subject because he's about the same height as me. I'm actually going to play the interviewee today. And like I said, you want to be about eye line. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just getting the cameras set up for the angles that I'm going to want for the talking part. I'm going to actually record a little bit just so you guys can kind of see what I'm seeing. So that's in there. So this is my camera guy, but you want to be about eye line, and we want a tighter shot. So I'm going to do kind of a little bit above belly button, a little bit higher than that up. When it comes to interviews, you want to do 24 frames per second, and then 1080p, 4K, whatever you have. You do not want to do 60p. There's not any movement going. So you're going to want to do that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set up our second camera for a little bit wider shot. And again, you want a little bit of difference. So when they're jumping back and forth between the two shots, you want to make sure that the jump isn't too abrasive, that you feel like, whoa, what's going on here? But that it has a nice flow between it. So you're may have to learn how to get the different angles that you're going to need for each camera. And so now we're going to do our wider shot with our subject. And so we're going to need to bring this up just a tiny bit. Again, you want these to be about the same eye line too. So you don't want there to feel like you're going up or down between the jump between the cameras. And again, you want to be right at your subject's eye line. Now, if you have a nice office setting, you do really want to build out the background. This is such a simple, plain, basic setup. We're making it about as easy as it possibly can. If I was going full throttle and this was for a client, again, I would be looking to build out the background, have things in the background that catch your eye. And so that takes time. If you can do set design, it's going to add so much more to your shot, okay? So I just want to put that out there. Set design is extremely important, and I'll pop up a little bit of footage from the video that we did for a client recently, and you can kind of see the background and get a feel for what set design kind of looks like. We spent extra time. We spent probably over an hour of just figuring out what office room we wanted to shoot in and then how to organize that office room so that it looked good for this corporate client that I did this last year. So we've got our tight shot, we've got a wider shot, and then we got two decent shots here. So now we need to set up audio, turn on lighting, and then we can hit record and actually knock this interview out.